Hey everybody, Jason Yee here, and in this video we're going to talk about how to go from the lean and push old shot to the effortless slingshot that we see Pettersson do so well. And this is a 6-week tutorial, and during that 6-week tutorial, what we're going to do is we're going to do a little bit of coaching every week. I'm going to show you some different examples, and last week we talked about unlearning unnatural mechanics, which is really the biggest thing holding players back. And once you have that sorted out, you are going to do a much better job shooting. And then this week, once you've unlearned some of these unnatural mechanics, then we're going to talk about installing some natural mechanics for you to test out. And if you've missed that video, you'll want to catch that one first. And then what we're doing is we're going to talk in week 3 about grabbing ice. And the remaining 4, 5, 6 weeks are inside of the Train 2.0 membership in a course called the Slingshot Shooting System. And that's what we have here. So without further ado, let's get into our week 2 lesson, where we're going to talk about installing natural mechanics. Now, like I said, first you want to make sure, have you removed the pebble in your shoe? If you're shooting with wrong mechanics, adding new mechanics or whatever is not actually going to help with your shooting. It's much more productive to get rid of old, sloppy, counterproductive mechanics than to go and add new stuff. So if you're looking for that first big boost and you haven't yet seen week 1 or applied what are coaching in week 1, you want to do that first. So that's the first thing. The next thing is to understand that in order to shoot like this guy, it's not enough just to look and say, okay, what are all the cues he's doing, and then just copy it. Okay, because what you really need to do for yourself is you need to test and feel, or test the feel and the result. And the first thing you want to do is you want to delete right and wrong from your shooting vocabulary. There's no right way to shoot. There's no wrong way to shoot. Now, what you want to do instead is you want to look at what works and what feels natural and effortless. Now, you're definitely welcome to use the terms right and wrong in your shooting. It's just going to lead you down that path of trying to do what other people do instead of using what works and feels natural and effortless to you. So when I propose these cues for you to test out, it's based off of what Pettersson and other NHLers are doing, and it's really up to you to feel if it's going to feel natural, and then also if it's going to give you the results you want. And if it gives you the result you want, so if it gives you like the control, the speed, the effortlessness, that we see here with Pettersson, well then, you might want to keep it. And that's a pretty good shot. So let's talk about some of those cues. So the first one is to C-cut before you shoot. So I want to show you a couple examples of Pettersson C-cutting before he shoots. So the first is his very well-known first goal. And what I want you to pay attention to is that just prior to the shot, notice how he C-cuts off of both feet. So he's C-cutting here like this, and then he's C-cutting off of this foot as well. So you can actually see there's a bit of an actual C-cut right there like that. And then just prior to that shot, he C-cuts, and that creates some rotation in his body. You can see there's the C-cut there, and then there's the release. Now, another great example of that is right here. Again, we can really do a good job seeing how he's using a C-cut prior to his release. So his footwork is really important here. And so you can see a C-cut off of his right foot right here. And what we're seeing with the right foot like this is we've got the C-cut happening and then the release. So that is a cue for you to test out, is the C-cut before you shoot. The other one is pull your top hand in. So, last week I talked about how sometimes the cue hands out can throw players off because they put their hands out and then they keep them out. And this leads to kind of a blocky, hard working shot. And, it is true that, and if you watch here, Pettersson does have his hands out and away from his body. But If this is a habit for you, you might also now want to try the cue pulling your top hand in. Now the timing of this is important, and that's why, taking the cue and making sure that it feels natural and gets you the results you want is important. Not right, wrong, but does it feel natural? Does it give you the results you want? And you might try taking your hands out and then pulling your top hand in. Now here's another great example of McKinnon taking this shot as well, and you'll actually really do a great job seeing that what I mean by pulling that top hand in, because again, you get a chance to see how the hand does move away from the body, like a lot of people cue, but then notice how the top hand here pulls in to the chest and levers in. So that's your second cue to try out, is pulling your top hand in. Now the next is shooting without tension, using your spring and twist. And there's one thing that just really stands out to me with Pettersson is just how like loose and relaxed he looks all the time in his shot. And this takes a lot of coaching or a lot of unlearning to figure out, because a lot of times people, when they're trying to shoot harder, literally stiffen up and try to get, they try to put more force behind it. But notice how much Pettersson is able to just whip that puck on net. It looks like there's like no tension in his body, and it's this really effortless release that he has that allows him to shoot so effortlessly. Like, you notice how just at the end of his shot, how twisted his body is, how his stick's way up here, his shoulders are twisted. That can't come from any amount of tension at all. And so what you want to do just to practice is to practice shooting without tension. Use the spring and twist of your body and practice shooting without tension. And then the next cue is don't lean on your stick. Whip the puck on net. And we get a really good view of that here with Pettersson. You can see how he really isn't leaning on his stick. Now the stick still flexes, right? So that's not a wrong cue. But notice how he doesn't lean on his stick. Like, his hands come out to cup the puck, but he's not pushing down through the stick. If you actually look at his bottom hand, look where it pushes. It pushes forward. And like we talked about last week, a lot of this stick flex is coming from the puck. It's not coming from the ice. And again, here's a really great example of that right here, where you'll see that there's like literally zero weight on the ice, but you'll still see the stick flex just from the puck and the hand reaching out. So you can see there's like a tiny bit of contact on the ice, like a very, very small amount. And then you can see how the stick actually flexes with the puck. So you guys see how the blade opens and flexes as it touches the puck. And that's synchronized with the hand pulling in. And then there's the shot there. So that's your next cue to try out, is practice not leaning on your stick, just whipping the puck on net. And remember that in order to get to natural mechanics, you have to delete right and wrong from your shooting vocabulary. So I'm not proposing these cues as the right cues and everything else is the wrong cues. I'm proposing these cues as something for you to test for yourself and notice the results. And you want to notice if it feels natural and if it gets you the result that you want. So your coaching for this week is repetition and awareness equals mastery. And so with your floorball stick, that's the ideal way to shoot or to practice your shooting, because you'll really get the feel right. Or you can do it with a normal stick and puck or stick and ball. But ideally with a floorball stick, you want to test each of these 4 cues for 100 shots each. So you'll do 100 passes times 4 sets and 100 shots times 4 sets. And the coaching isn't to do the cue. The coaching isn't to do C-cut before you shoot, pull your top hand in, shoot without tension, don't lean on your stick. I know this might sound weird, but your coaching is to notice what it feels like. And look, some of these cues might not work for you, or you might not understand them, or my wording might be off or something. But what you really want to do is notice how moving in a different way has a different feeling and leads to a different result. And what you want to do is you want to really absorb, like as Bruce Lee says, you want to absorb what's useful and discard what's not, add what's uniquely your own. So what you want to do is you really want to absorb the mechanics that feel right and get you the results you want. And then you want to just let go of the other mechanics and cues that don't work. And this will really help you build your confidence in your own mechanics, in your own feel. And so you want to ask yourself, what do you notice? And test how this really feels. Do you have more control? Do you have more ease? Do you have more power or more whip? Or do you have less? Because that's totally fine too. And that just tells you that that's a cue that you don't want to use right at this moment. So test these cues out. And if you want to learn more about Train 2.0, you can click the link to go to our homepage and learn more about it and how you can get access to the full slingshot shooting system, the full 6 weeks, and learn more about upgrading your mechanics. But until then, this is your coaching, and we'll see you next week for week 3, where we're going to talk about grabbing the ice, which is a really important mechanic. But you want to get testing these mechanics first so we can really hit the ground running in week 3. So we'll see you then. Thanks for watching.